Cutting Tool Designer here. Welcome to episode 6 of Shop Finds. Excuse me. It's been a while since I posted a video. Apologize for that. Had a lot of things going on. Did a lot of traveling the last few months. Also had some surgery on my right shoulder. And I still have some issues with some stressed muscles. Sprained muscles in the forearm and the bicep. So working through rehabilitation on that. Also, shoulder getting better. I got pretty good movement going out. So, such is life, getting old. So, just thought I'd give you a quick update and show you a few things that I've picked up for the shop. So, hang on one second and we'll get started. Okay, well, first thing up on here is picked up a set of Brown and Sharp telescoping gauges. Actually bought these from a friend, and they're basically lightly used, is what I would say. Complete set, hardly used, good shape, and I was able to pick these up off of him for $40. So our size ranges from, I think, 1/2 inch being the smallest, all the way to 6 inches. So a nice complete set range. Again, these are Brown and Sharps. I do need to get a little bit of oil on them. They haven't been used in a long time. So basically, original pouch. Pretty much like brand new. So we'll add that to our inspection gauge collection, and we'll show you what we got up here next. Okay, next on the list is an eBay purchase. Come across this and put a bid on it, and actually ended up getting it for a very good price. Paid about $55 for this, less the shipping. Was about a little over $70 with shipping. So it's a Starrett, and it's a number 196 button indicator. Excellent shape, no sticking, really clean. Comes with a complete set of all the attachments, including the indicator transposer for measuring in bores and or reaching into tight places, and the original clamp. Now the rods and stuff got a little bit of surface rust on them. Somebody scribed their name on them, so there's a little bit of a rough surface, so I'm going to have to clean those up a little bit, and I think the threads need a little bit of a cleanup job, but basically this is a complete set. Here's the main rod, original bluing. Still in excellent shape. No rust on that one. And of course the button adapter for standard buttons as opposed to the Starrett buttons. A couple more bullnose buttons for on there, and clamp. But still in original packaging, still got foam, in really good shape overall. So for the price, I thought that was an excellent deal. Now, Stan Zinkowski, Barzy Industrial, he did a real nice video on all the different attachments and how you can utilize this in many different ways to check things and use it as even a comparative instrument. So I'll link down in the description to his video where he shows all the different ways of using this particular gauge set. Alright, so we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, this next item, picked this up for, what did I get it for? I'm going to say $15. Basically it's a bench center. Slides back and forth. This one's spring loaded. Unlock it. Put items between centers. It really needs to clean up big time. Tore apart, get the crud out of it. It was used in a grinding operation to pre-locate parts. That's why this little finger is sitting here. Been wanting to get one for being able to check round stocks, TIRs, presetting, a lot of different things that you can use a bench center for. So I think all in all, it's still in pretty good shape. It does have some boogering up on it here and there, but I think that'll clean up real well for the usage of what I'll get out of it. I don't think it'll be a problem. Get it cleaned up, repainted, get all the surfaces cleaned up. But will come in definitely handy when we get into some machine work at some point here. As soon as I get a lathe finished, tool and cutter grinder put together, probably get a mill. And I also picked up in the deal a bunch of stuff that was on the same cart. This is actually a wrench tang used for undoing the nuts on this arbors for a tool and cutter grinder. Got some wrenches. So there's another tang driver. Different drivers that were used. For instance, this was a driver that if you see on there, this fits on, of course, the center. And these were tapered tangs that you put on the tool. Put the tool between centers, slide this on there, press it up tight and lock it down. Now you had a preset device that you could use to locate a part. Then the machine, of course, had the equivalent on the other end. So a bunch of stuff in here. Well, that's a heavy duty Allen wrench. It's just different things. Even a large spanner. Hey, I wonder if that'll work for my. Yeah, I'll have to check for the collet remover on my lathe. We'll check that in a minute and see. So just a bunch of stuff to come with it. Could use it for different things. All right, well, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, what we got here is a belt grinder. And I don't have a scale over here, but I'm pretty sure that's probably a 4-incher. I got this at a Make-A-Wish auction, and paid $55 for it, so not a bad deal. I actually haven't even plugged it in since I got it home. These are very simple devices, actually. And it has a, let's see, a Leeson motor on it, C-face flange. Now this would actually make a good project someday to kind of go through and tear it apart and, you know, maybe make up a variation of this design, make your own little belt grinders. So let's just plug it in, see if it even works. I haven't even tried it yet. It works, but I think I'm going to have to get in there and adjust the tracking. You saw that walk off, but that's easy enough fix. Okay, so works. Alright, so that was definitely worth the $55 considering that what you're going to pay for just a motor. Okay, so we'll probably get definitely good use of that. Maybe make a stand for it at some point. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Alright, what we got here is actually a toolmaker's microscope. So there's a lens in here, or lens up here, viewfinder in here with crosshairs. This allows you to move back and forth to focus with. This whole assembly then pivots. We have a vernier gauge down here so you can set it to a specific angle. It also has paddle wheel to raise and lower the assembly, which is graduated so you can measure how far you're moving. It also has a vernier on here, so as you line up across here with a feature, say like a relief angle or whatever, you rotate it and line it up, and then you take your measurement as to what the angle is. Uses one of those collapsible collet systems, which I don't have. Again, these can be loosened up, and then you can actually set this to a rotational position. There's a screw that's supposed to lock that in. Well, there's a set screw there. So that you can take a measurement radially on a tool. So you take a measurement, see how far it goes, and get an index measurement or whatever you want to do. Again, this whole assembly can move back and forth for focusing and longer length tools. Not in the greatest shape right now. I'm trying to get trying to work out a deal to buy another one of these complete with all the cullets and all the attachments to light system and spare lenses. Haven't arranged that yet, but I figured if I can do that, this at very least I can use for spare parts. So that's a Toolmaker's microscope gauge measurement system. You can use it on drills, end mills, reamers, any basically round tool, cutting tool that'll fit in the collets. Also picked up this box full of all different sizes and shapes of magnets. They were used in a PVD coating vessel. That's why they're kind of gold color. It's actually titanium nitride coated magnets. There's a whole container of them. What am I going to use those for? You'd be surprised what you use magnets for, so we'll see. Okay, so I think that's about it for that. I think I got one other thing to show, two other things to show you, so hang on one second, be right back. Okay, what I got in this box, picked up from a sales guy that basically no longer needed these. These basically are all, I won't say outdated, they're obsoleted. They're no longer available for purchase, so they're in some instances new old stock. And what we have in here is a whole box full of Seco and Carbaloy inserts. I have no idea what all is in here. Man, this is an SNMG insert. All different shapes and sizes. Some for turning, some for milling. And just some of them have nothing in them. Some of them have one or two. Some of them have a couple in that maybe all sides, but one edge wasn't used. But a good majority of them are brand new, old stock, unused. Let's see, that's a mill insert. You can actually see one edge was used on them. So a lot of large ones too, actually. But there's also a bunch of small stuff in here too. Just there's a TNMG. Let's see what that's good for. Not sure what's in that. I mean, these are really dated when you have the old Carbaloy packages, but standard square, flat inserts, smaller TNMGs. Yeah, real small down to even that size. It looks like a CMMG, real small. So, oh boy, one of these days I'll have to take some time and go through these. But I think that'll keep me available in some interesting things that we can do with carbide, I guess, at some point. So can't complain about that. Again, old stock. Sorry for kicking the camera. Can't buy these particular grades and inserts anymore, but they're still usable. So that said, we'll figure out what we're going to do with that. Okay, hang on one second. We'll be right back. Okay, well, I broke down, and in order to keep the lathe moving forward, what I went and did is I went out and purchased another spindle. This one actually is in really good shape. This surface is a little rusted. It actually says grease on here, so this must be a newer spindle, same size. It also has the on the cone pulley. Get that off of there. There's a steel gear with impregnated bronze for the bushing, and I would say it definitely probably had grease in it as opposed to oil, because there's no oil grooves in either the front or the rear bearing, which is typical for the oil fed system like this original one here. As you recall, I had issues with this inside bore and this outside diameter. So this particular spindle is in really good shape. No major grooving or pitting. I haven't gone through and measured it, but I would say by just rubbing my thumb across it, it doesn't have a whole lot of wear on it. And again, it's the large bore, so we're good there. And that's the came with the spindle, came with the all the bearings and so forth, and the lock nut for the rear and the keys. So all that stuff's there, and these were actually sold separately. And let's see, for the spindle and the bearings was $125, and then the cone pulley was $25, so that's $150. Combined shipping brought it down to like $25 in shipping. So it wasn't too bad for it being in as good a shape as this. And I just went over and I pulled this spanner wrench out that I had in that box I just showed you, and this is an Armstrong. And guess what? Perfect. Fits that right perfect. So now I have a nice wrench for my, we won't call them thread protectors, we'll call them the collet remover, because that's really what it is. So anyways, that at least puts us in a position that we can hopefully move forward on the spindle here in the not too distant future, as soon as I get some more recuperation going on with this arm. So hang on one second, we'll be right back. Okay, well, that's gonna call it a wrap on episode 6 of Shop Finds. Hope you saw something interesting there. There was some stuff that when we get to it, we'll be cleaning it up, checking it out, putting it basically into serviceable condition. So those will be some future projects coming up in the future. Again, apologize for the several month delay in having a video out. Just was a lot of stuff going on. Busy traveling. Spent 2 weeks over in Europe, traveling Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland. So look forward to maybe a little road trip video. Get you some shots of what I did. Was able to at least see while I was over there. Also have probably another little video on a walkthrough I did in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio. I was there for a week. Not in the Hall of Fame, but I was in Cleveland for a week. And then recently spent a week in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and then just the 21st of June I had this shoulder operated on. Fortunately, no major tears. There was a minor one in the ligaments on the one rotator cuff. But once they got in there, there wasn't enough damage that they felt was necessary, that it was still strongly held onto the bone. But I did have a lot of bone spurs in the ball, and then also the clavicle area, the collarbone area. They had to shave a lot of that off, so it's a little sore. I have pretty much gotten back full movement of rotation, everything with the arm, or at least the shoulder. I still need to work on these muscle strains that I have. It's difficult to pick things up right now, but I really can't because this is still healing. So anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by and taking a look. Hope to have some more stuff out here in the not too distant future. Really need to get going on all of this stuff. It's just been real busy. So again, I apologize for the long delay. So until next video, till next time, everyone out there, take care.